This is the basic scheme of neonatal resuscitation. First scenario, जब बच्चा the baby is term baby has a normal tone, which is also known as vigorous tone, and the baby is crying normally. Then in such a case, there is no need to initiate neonatal resuscitation. So our step would be routine normal newborn care. So once the baby is handed over by the gynae department to pedia department, the baby is immediately kept in the warmer to prevent hypothermia, because in neonates hypothermia is more important than airway and breathing itself. So once the baby is kept in the warmer, obviously the baby has all the secretions, vernix caseosa all over the body. The face, mouth has to be wiped by cloth, and the baby has to be made dry. After that, we have to hand the baby over to the mother, for which we cover the baby. We put a cap on the baby because the head circumference of the baby is more than the chest circumference. Maximum heat loss takes place from the head, so the head should be covered. We should not forget the feet, soles should be covered, and the baby should be covered properly and handed over to the baby for immediate early breastfeeding. That is for a normal child. But if the child is a preterm baby, is lethargic, does not have a vigorous tone, and is not crying, then that would suggest, a baby not crying would suggest that the baby is not respiring. So this has risk of birth asphyxia. So we have to start neonatal resuscitation protocol. For that, obviously once we get the baby, we'll wipe the baby immediately and keep the baby in radiant warmer to prevent hypothermia. Then we start the neonatal resuscitation. First, according to 2015 guidelines, initially this was known as initial steps. Now it is known as initial actions. So the initial actions that we take is, we have already put the baby in radiant warmer to prevent hypothermia. We start with suctioning. Suctioning always should begin in the mouth and not the nose. First you suction the mouth, then the nose, because if you suction the nose first, there might be secretions collecting in the mouth. So once the baby starts respiring, after you have removed fluid collections from the nose, the baby might aspirate the fluid from the mouth. So to prevent that, we suction the fluid from the mouth, then we proceed to suctioning of the nose. But according to 2015 guidelines, routine suctioning is again not preferred, because we only suction in cases where we suspect that there is a lot of secretions in the mouth and nose of the baby. If there is not a lot of secretions in the mouth and nose of the baby, and if the baby is normally crying, then we can just wipe the mouth and nose using a whatever. Yeah, we can just wipe the mouth and nose. After that, if despite suctioning the baby does not cry, then we have to put the baby in sniffing position, where we put a towel roll under the shoulder of the baby and extend the neck. This will straighten the airway, and if there is if the baby was not being able to breathe because of kinking of airway, the baby will finally be able to breathe. Despite this, if the baby does not start to cry, then we have to stimulate. Now, stimulation can be done by back rub or feet flicking. So we just flex the lower limbs at the level of hip to raise the sole, and then flick on the sole, or we can turn over the baby and then rub the back. Rubbing can be done with the hands also, with cotton also. So generally, most of the babies, they will, if they have not cried, they will usually cry after stimulation. But if there is no crying of the baby, despite taking initial actions or initial steps, then we have to move to the rest of the protocol. That is dictated by the heart rate. So now we take the heart rate immediately. If the heart rate is, there can be two situations. First situation, more than 100 and the baby is crying, everything is normal, you proceed with routine newborn care. Second situation, heart rate can be more than 100 but the baby may not be crying. Third situation, heart rate could be less than 100 and the baby is not crying. So these are the three situations. Heart rate more than 100, baby is crying, you send the baby to routine normal care, newborn care. Heart rate is more than 100 and the baby is not crying, we have to start with oxygen. Heart rate is more than 100, the baby is not crying, we start with oxygen. Oxygen can be delivered through two methods, either through oxygen hood or CPAP. CPAP is preferred in infants. Now if the heart rate is less than 100 and the baby is not crying, this indicates, this is an indication for immediate positive pressure ventilation. The decision to start positive pressure ventilation from initiation of neonatal resuscitation should take no more than 1 minute. From this step to this step, this step should be started within 1 minute of starting initial action. So all these things should be done very rapidly. So we check the heart rate by observation.
Sir, one thing I would like to add. Sir, when we checking heart rate, we have to just count the heart rate just for the 6 seconds.
For 6 seconds.
6 seconds multiplied by 10 for the quick.
For quick decision.
For the quick decision.
And this will see about, like, we have started positive pressure ventilation. Positive pressure ventilation can be given with bag and mask ventilation, EMBU bag. Only contraindication is if the baby has congenital diaphragmatic hernia, we do not start bag and mask ventilation. We immediately proceed with ET intubation. Otherwise, we will start bag and mask ventilation. Now, bag and mask ventilation is done using an EMBU bag with appropriate sized mask. For a preterm, that is size 0. For a term baby, that is size 1 mask. And the rate of ventilation would be breathe 3-2 like that. So basically, we have to give a ventilation of ventilation of 40 to 60 per minute. So breathe 3-2, we ventilate the baby. Now, alongside ventilation of the baby, we also assess the heart rate, because the decision time from bag and mask ventilation to chest compression is again 30 seconds. So alongside giving bag and mask ventilation, we are also continually assessing the heart rate of the baby. If the heart rate improves, that is good. But if the heart rate is below 60, then we have to start chest compressions. But if the heart rate is above 60 but below 100, then we have to start some ventilation corrective steps. The ventilation corrective steps can be remembered by the mnemonic MR SOPA. M is for mask readjustment, you readjust the mask. R is for repositioning of the head, you again bring the head back to sniffing position. S is for suctioning, so if you see some visible secretions, you can suction those secretions out. O is for opening of the mouth, because sometimes you are trying to push air but the baby's mouth is closed. So for that, you just apply more pressure on the mask and the baby's mouth opens. P is for increasing pressure. That is done like we just increase the pressure of the ventilation, and we can do that in an ICU setting. A is for alternative airway. Even if you do all these things and still the heart rate is not improving, then you move to alternate airway, that is ET intubation. Now, that is if the heart rate was more than 60 and below 100. But if the heart rate is below 60, then we have to start chest compression. Again, the decision from starting bag and mask ventilation or starting positive pressure ventilation to chest compression is 30 seconds. So within 30 seconds, we have to take this decision. So if you choose to start chest compressions, we start chest compressions in the rate of 3:1. So we continue bag and mask ventilation and we start chest compression at the rate of 3:1. So 3 compressions for 1 ventilation. 3 compressions for 1 ventilation. To synchronize it between the one compressor and 1 ventilator, we have to the compressor should say this aloud, like 3 and 2 and 1 and breathe. 3 and 2 and 1 and breathe. If there is still no response, we are again continually monitoring the heart rate of the baby. If the heart rate of the baby continues to be less than 60,
3 chest leads.
Okay, until and if there is no for that, we also have to additional to the steps taken here, we also apply 3 chest leads and then also pulse oximeter in the toe. And so we do that. We monitor other vital parameters of the baby, and we also monitor the heart rate of the baby, because if we keep a chest lead, the ECG will also show the heart rate. So, and if we keep the SpO2 pulse oximeter, SpO2 is also recorded. So we will have ample of information to take decisions within 30 seconds. If there is no response to chest compression despite starting chest compressions for 30 seconds, yes, we will continue chest compressions, but we will also start administration of adrenaline. The last step, even if you have given adrenaline, The last step would be to give
Fluid
fluid resuscitation, vessel expanders and vasopressor therapy. If it does not work, then it will not work. The total duration of neonatal resuscitation, you can try it for 20 minutes.
Maximum.
Maximum 20 minutes.
Vessel expansion, volume expansion.
Volume expanders.
Volume